Welcome back to DataShark Academy. Now let's talk about Kafka Producer. This is the area that you will be working most of the time, producer and also the consumer. A Kafka producer is responsible to send data to Kafka cluster. Producer may be connected to a data source and reading the data from it, creating packets and sending over to the cluster. The producer only specifies the topic to which the data needs to be sent to. Now Kafka internally sends the data to the leader node of that topic's partition. This is the responsibility of the Kafka. It takes care of where the data should be sent to. You can configure producer to wait for the acknowledgement that the data is successfully processed by all the nodes inside the Kafka cluster. In this case, the acknowledgement indicator will be all and there will be no data loss. But this kind of setup may be slow because your producer is waiting for the acknowledgement. Second option is to set the acknowledgement equal to 1, which means that the data is received by the leader only. As soon as it is received, then producer will assume that the data is successfully processed. In this case, you may lose some part of the data. For example, say your leader got the data, but as soon as it got the data, it went down. And since the acknowledgement is already sent back to the producer will not resend the same data. Okay, so you may have some data loss with this setup. So the third option is no acknowledgement. In this case, the acknowledgement indicator is set to 0. Okay, but here you may have high chances of data loss because producer is keep sending the data and it's not keeping track of if the data is being received or not, and your cluster is receiving the data. So what if one of the server goes down and producer is still sending the data in? So in the time when the new broker is set up as a leader for that topic, you may have some part of the data lost. Okay, so there are high chances of data loss in this kind of setup. All right, so I hope you understand what Kafka producer is, and next we'll talk about Kafka consumer. Okay, I'll see you in the next class.